another episode of The Animal Experience. This is episode 48. My name is Coriel Kramer. I am a professional animal communicator, psychic, seer, medium, healer. And I am here with The Animal Experience because it's Thursday. And this one is kind of interesting. What happened with me with this one was 3 separate times this week, three separate people asked me this question. Or they associated, or the name or the word behaviorist came up, or they asked me what were my credentials as a behaviorist. So, after the first time, I don't need any more. I'm usually like, okay, that's the animal's way of letting me know that's the topic for this week. But then it just happened one day after the other before I could even mention what I was going to be doing as the subject. So it was pretty interesting. It was pretty funny. I had to laugh after that. I was like, okay. So this is episode 48. Again, the animal experience has been a wonderful unfolding for me. It's been me every week giving you a different topic from what I learned on from the animals. And it's been quite extraordinary. And it's been a huge gift for me to be able to share this with all of you. So I take your comments and your questions at the end of the show. Please feel free to comment and question, send your questions to me however you want, and I will read them at the end of the show. I love them. You usually have some great questions. You also have some beautiful comments. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate all of you, and I appreciate your animals, whoever they are, wherever they are, listening in on the animal experience, if they're with you or not. So let's get to it. This is episode 48, and it's basically communicator versus behaviorist. Dun, dun, dun. I don't have the Rocky theme. This isn't like a huge, show kind of like theme. I don't have all this money, but if I could, I'd play Rocky in the background. But to be quite honest, let me just say, there is no competition. I believe that there is no competition unless you believe there is competition. And I believe that there's a place for everyone. And this episode is first and foremost not about bashing anyone or their career in this episode. I don't do that. I'm not about that. I am just trying to set the record straight about what everybody is, so that then you can make your own decision, maybe a little bit easier, about what the different types of careers are. So as far as I'm concerned, man, it's different strokes for different folks, and both of our careers have a love and appreciation for animals, and that to me is the most important thing. Sorry, I've got something in my eye. So let's set the record straight, okay? I believe that both behaviorists and trainers have a place in taking care of animals. I believe that. I really do. I don't think that somebody should just limit themselves. I think that's tunnel vision, and I don't think you're benefiting yourself, and I don't think you're benefiting your animals. Okay? So, first what I want to do is let's take and find out what is a behaviorist. Okay? Now, a behaviorist stems from the knowledge or the school of behavioralism. All right. And what that is, it's also known as like behavioral psychology. And it's a theory that's based on an idea that all behaviors are acquired through conditioning. What's conditioning? Basically, that's just, conditioning occurs when you're just living your life. You're going through your life and you're living in your environment. All right. So behaviorists believe that responses to the environment that somebody's living in, whether you're an animal, vegetable, or mineral, that environmental stimuli shapes actions. That's basically what their school of thought is. So let me take this apart a little bit, okay? So number one, animal behaviorists are people who specialize in a particular field of study with either with wild animals or domesticated animals. Okay, they usually come to your home and they observe an animal in their environment. So they'll come to your home, they'll look and check out what your animal's doing. If your animal does say your animal is pooping in the living room, so or being aggressive towards other animals in the household. So the behaviorist comes in and just sits and observes and looks around and see what's going on, how everybody interacts, not only your animals, but how you interact with your animals. So he and she are coming from that kind of perspective. For a behaviorist, the goal is to kind of like assess each dog. I'll take dogs right now, but they'll work with cats, birds. They have all different kinds of animals, the behaviorists, but I'm just going to take the dog for right now because it's easier. So I'm taking a dog. So they assess the goal. Their goal is to assess that dog's individual emotional problems and help to modify their behavior through reconditioning and positive reinforcement. So what does that mean? So basically they look, they check out, they want to assess, they assess, and then they say, okay, this is what we do. When your dog does this, we need to recondition him. So maybe we need to change something in the environment, because conditioning is about your environmental stimuli. I should have worn my glasses, but I don't wear glasses, but because I feel like I'm like, Dr. Science here. But so through your environmental stimuli, what to change in that, but also positive reinforcement. So as opposed to saying, no, Phoebe, don't pee on the bed, you will then say, okay, well, maybe what do I need to change in the environment, myself as the animal's person, and then let's do positive reinforcement. No, down, or come over here, or something else like that there. The positive, good girl, good boy. That's the positive reinforcement. So what this does is it helps to make recommendations to correct behavioral problems. Okay, so this is supposed to correct behavioral problems, and it does. Behaviorist seeks to identify and treat the root cause of the behavior. Okay, kind of like a psychologist for dogs. What's the root problem? Oh, you had a bad relationship with your mom. They don't go that deep, but you know what I'm saying. It's basically the dog is attacking the other dogs because he's feeling threatened. That's an example. It's just an example. That's not exactly 100% what they say. So, however, this is what I want to say. You need to make sure when you go the behaviorist route, you have to make sure that the behaviorist you call is someone with experience and expertise dealing with your pet's or your animal's specific behavioral problems, and that their behavioralist needs to be at least a BS or a BA degree. Bachelor's in science or bachelor's in the art degree. Basically, this is it in a nutshell, okay? A behaviorist goes to school to study animals, gets a degree, and then they apply what they learn in school to each situation they encounter. Let me say that again. Again, this is not knocking anybody. This is just basically trying to get through all this science mishigash and get down to the heart of things. Basically, a behavioralist will go to school. They will learn about a certain animal or a certain species of animal's behavior, and then they will apply what they learned to every situation they encounter. Okay? Now, I just want to clarify Oh no, hang on one second. Somebody has a question. I want to address that while I remember it because I'm in the flow. This is usually I like to take questions only at the end, but I'm gonna get this for her. So Krista says, what is the behavior that shows the dog feels threatened? I was using that as an example, Krista, so that people could understand why you would call in a behaviorist. It wasn't to say, oh, and will solve that problem. Okay, it was just to say the dog may be attacking other dogs in there because he's feeling threatened. That is usually without dissing anybody, that is usually as deep as they will go into the situation. So I hope that answers that question. Okay, so we're gonna continue on. Please keep your comments and your questions coming because I'll answer them at the end. I just wanted to take that one while I'm in the remembrance of it because this stuff comes through so quickly I forget what the heck I'm saying. So now what I want to do right now is I just want to clarify what is a trainer, because a lot of times people confuse behaviorists with trainers. So a trainer is more like a teacher or a coach. You know, they equip animals with tools that they need to perform in various situations, like basic obedience to agility, to complex services like, you know, law enforcement or military. Basically, they learn different ways to teach an animal how to do a specific task, to help them accomplish that task or job, and to behave better. So that's what a trainer is. I mean, it goes into more depths, but let's just cut away at everything so we can get to the heart of everything. So I'm going to go into the next one. I'm going to go into is what is an animal communicator. Okay, so an animal communicator, again, getting away from all the outside stuff and going straight for the jugular of the basic bottom line. This is what I believe. I believe it is to be an animal communicator. Other people may have more or less. I don't care. This is what I think. First, an animal communicator is a person who, either through a course study or through practical experience, can hear and talk with animals. That's one. Okay? They use telepathy and sometimes empathy or empathic skills to find out how an animal is feeling or thinking about people or situations, or why an animal is behaving in a certain way, or how they're feeling about their own health. 3, a good animal communicator, again, this is all my opinion, a good animal communicator will take each session as an individual session. Let me explain. A good animal communicator will come in and take each session as an individual situation. Okay? What they want to do is they want to stay open to the animal's message no matter what they're saying, and to stay in a state of mind and neutrality and open-mindedness. Neutrality and open-mindedness is very huge in, I believe, what animal communicators do. Number 4, a good animal communicator will first find out the why behind the behavior. Now, let me explain. Then, from the why, because from the why is where the answer always lies. All right? So once we discover the why, because there is always a why, once we discover the why, a good animal communicator will then use their knowledge or empathic or intuitive abilities to find out the best course of action to stop the behavior. Okay? All right. Now, what this does, And I'll go into more into why the whys are important in a second, but that's basically then going on. So what this does is, what's the result from this? This brings the animal and the person to a better understanding, their person, to a better understanding, a place of agreement of what needs to be done to respect each other as fellow beings. Right? Now, this differs. This is, again, my opinion, because I found, and I was researching what a behavioralist is, what a behaviorist is, what a trainer is, and this is what I believe, okay? And if I'm wrong, hey, and you're a behaviorist, contact me. Let me know. I might be wrong. I'm not a behaviorist, okay? I am saying that right now. I'm not a behaviorist. But this is where I believe it differs. This differs from the first two careers because the whys are not asked, and they are not even an issue. Let me say that again. I believe it differs from the other two careers because in the other two careers, they are coming from a place of, I've learned this, and I'm applying this to this in this situation every single time. Maybe I'll change it up a little bit, but this is what gets me the results I want, so I'm going to do that. And it does. It gets you the results. So I'm going to go a little bit more deeper into why the whys are important. When you, as a person, okay, go into therapy, if any of you have, you know that the whys are always important to know. Your therapist will ask you, you will say, I did this today, I did that today, and your therapist will say, why do you feel like you did that? Why do you feel like you needed to do that? What were you thinking when you did that? Now, I believe, and this is me, but I believe a being is a being is a being is a being is a being. So, if I'm going to ask a person why they do a certain action, I should ask an animal why they do a certain action. I should not just come from a place of saying, I'm going to train this animal and make this animal do what I want him to do or her to do because I don't care about the whys and I can't hear the whys. But I found from my own experience that when I find out the whys, it is a lot of the time something totally and completely different from what is being assumed upon that animal. And when I find out the whys, I can find out the hows. How to fix it, how to help them, and how to help you to help them. So, let me also say this. I believe glomming over the whys is something that's kind of like, can be in certain situations, not all, okay? But I think what it does is it kind of covers up the root of the cause of the issue and the behavior of the problem that may lead. Now what might happen is this might lead to them becoming deeper, more rooted, more seated. If you're not going into the why and you're just training that dog not to bark, but you're not finding out why that dog is barking or why that dog is peeing or why that dog is aggressive, you're covering up something and you're not really dealing with the problem. And everybody, I don't care if you're a person, I don't care if you're an animal, I don't care if you're a bird, I don't care if you're a turtle, everybody needs to deal with the problems in order to let them go. That's what I believe. So, let me go into some more specifics about animal communication. Again, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. So as of this moment right now, there is no animal communication courses study in any of the colleges of higher learning that I know about, which means, AKA, you can't go and study for 2 years animal communication, come out with a degree, an AC degree. So where do you learn animal communication? The animal communication is learned either by practical studies, like me, I was doing it since I was a kid. I stopped it for a while, but then I started it again. So that's practical studies. So, or basically it's studied in courses, which vary in length. I have a 3-hour animal communication course. Some people might have a 3-week animal communication course. Some people might have an animal communication course retreat. It depends. And it usually, but all of them usually end with a certificate, a certification, not a degree. So, the last thing I want to state about this and about animal communication is basically a good animal communicator, okay, is someone who is neutral, who is open-minded, who comes into the situation with the intention of bringing and understanding a deeper connection between that person and their animal companion. So, that, in a nutshell, is what those 3 are all about. So you can see now how different animal communication is from animal behaviorist, or behaviorism is. So now you can see the difference between animal behaviorism and trainer, so that now you can make an educated decision about what you think is best for your animal. So let me go to my bottom line. My bottom line is this. I believe each has their place. Okay? Each want to be brought into a situation, okay, that has the ability to help and bring their own knowledge and experience to it. They want to help animals. They want to help you and your animals. Okay? But it's your place to deem which of us is best for you, which is best for your animal, and which is best for the situation. No one is better or smarter or anything else because they have a degree or don't. I mean, I got a degree in BA, but it's graphic design. That's it, okay? So I have a degree. It's just not in animal communication. But I think if there was a degree in animal communication, I think I could be teaching it. It's my thing, you know? Look, bottom line is it's about the situation. And and what it is calling for that situation is what matters. Which one of us is calling for your situation? The whys are important, but it's not always called for to know them. But in many cases, if the whys aren't found out, the issue won't stop, or in some cases, it'll get worse before it gets better. And it can cause also some more harm than good. Look, if you're not dealing with your crap, if you're not dealing with your stuff, and you keep pushing away, eventually it's going to come and smack you in the side of the head. And usually it's going to be when you're not expecting it. And it's going to be very, very painful. And you usually get an emotional setback. So that's why the whys are so important. So check to make sure who your situation calls for. Get the facts from each one, from each source. I talked about this in choosing an animal communicator. Get the facts, ask questions. Get the facts from each one of us. Okay? If possible, talk to us directly. Find out what our backgrounds are. Find out, what we work with in order to help alleviate the situation. All right? Get a sense for who we are as people. All right? Because like your animals, you want to be able to appreciate this person and what they're bringing to your life. And if you don't appreciate them, or you think somebody told me to get this animal communicator, but I really want to go with the animal behaviorist, then go with the behaviorist. Because the bottom line is, this is your animal. Okay? So this is your animal, this is the situation you're dealing with. So degrees don't make a person. Just remember, degrees don't make a person. They only describe them. And find the right one that works for you. And hopefully everything will work out exactly and perfectly and helps make your life and your experience with your animal even more deeper. So I hope that answered that question. And now at least, hallelujah, I have a video so I can tell people where to go to, and I don't have to keep on explaining this stuff over and over and over and over and over again. Now, before I go to the questions and comments, I want to say this. I am having a sale, okay? Right now, unless I get more attention put on it, if I get more interest, I will extend it. But right now, it's going only until 12 o'clock midnight, or yeah, whatever, 12 o'clock midnight Sunday evening or Monday morning. Okay, so it ends Monday. Okay, it's only going until this weekend. Now, this is a great sale. Okay, this is $75 savings. It is it's 30 minutes for $50. 30 minutes for $50. You're saving yourself $75. Now, you can buy this. You can then keep the link to schedule it and use it. You have up to 3 months to use it. 3 months, I think, is more than enough. Usually people have a tendency to wait longer, and then they're not doing it for years, and I can't remember everything. So I decided to just cut it to 3 months. So this is 3 months. Of course, I'm not, a stickler, but it's a great sale. So take advantage of it. You'll see it on my website, CorielKramer.com. Now, I'm going to your questions and comments. If you have any questions, you have any comments, please feel free to let me know what they are. We'll take care of that. Okay, hang on. Okay, so what we got here? Hi, Coriel. Sharon. Hi, Sharon. Carrie Fawn says, Fiona and I are here together listening to you. Love you, Fiona. She was feeling a little sick. I sent her a little healing. Poor baby. Everybody send Fiona some love and healing, please. She's an amazing little dog. Carrie Wentworth, hi. Hi, Carrie. George, hi. Tammy. Tammy, you just wrote peeing in my bed. I'm not taking that. I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole, hon. I don't know if that's you or your animal. So you gotta help me out here. I need a little bit more clarification than that. Okay. Krista was the one that said about the behavior shows that the dog is feeling threatened earlier. She says, okay, I wish we could know for sure what they feel. Okay. Well, that's where an animal communicator comes in, because the behaviorist and the trainer aren't going into feelings. They're going into results. And again, I'm not dissing anybody. I'm just saying this is what it is. They're going into feeling. They're going into results. They're not going into feelings. They say this and this and this and this gets this result. It's not every animal is the same. Okay? It's just the way that it is. Just like not every person is the same. And it's ignorant and stupid to think that every person is the same. That's where racism comes in. Okay? That's where we all got into the racism thing. Oh, all certain people of this color are all and all I mean, that's ridiculous. Now, we all know this. Well, the majority of us know that it's ridiculous. What I'm trying to say is that to see all dogs as the same, and to say, well, this dog is having a hard time learning this trick, maybe you need to start examining the why behind he's having a hard time, because trying to force him into doing something that he's afraid of could be detrimental to his emotional health. So that's why an animal communicator comes in. And again, I have no problem working with a behaviorist and working with a trainer, as long as they don't have a problem working with me. And there are some that do. They think that what I do is too far out there. They think they can't get into the mindset. It's too woo-woo for them. They think that it's too much. But to me, it makes perfect sense. To me, what they do is a little limited. But again, I don't want to diss anybody, but it's like you're missing the joy, you're missing the nuggets, you're missing the jewels. You're not delving deep into the situation. You're just looking at the surface. The surface is nice, but don't you want to go deeper and try to find what the heck is going on, really and truly? Sometimes. So, okay. So that's my little thing. Okay, so Tammy says, doesn't a person need to be born with the gift to be an animal communicator? I think not everyone can do it. Every single person is born with the ability to tap in, tune in, turn on to their telepathy. Every single being on this planet is telepathic. It is through living life, and it is through believing in our limitations and allowing those limitations to become more than our beliefs in ourselves that we stop believing that we are telepathic. Every single person has the ability to be an animal communicator. Every single person has the ability to be a psychic. It depends on how much you're utilizing that. Because just like going to the gym, if you are just going to the gym once a month, you are not building up muscles. Your muscles are still going to be flabby. But if you're going every single day and you start slow and then you build up and you build up and you build up, I do my, then it becomes really super strong. You're building up. You're a bodybuilder in the intuitive world. I'm doing my intuition. I'm living by my intuition almost every single second of every single moment of every single day. I try to stay connected not only to the animals, I try to stay connected to the angels, to higher realms. I'm trying to do that because I need to keep my vibration clear. And because of that, yes, I am vibrating a very high level. And yes, I can do it much more easier than a lot of people. However, it's just like riding a bike. At first, you're going to be a little wobbly. But then after a while, you'll get it, and then you're zooming, and next minute you're in the Tour de Force. Or Tour de France, excuse me. Tour de France. Anyway, so I hope that answered your question. Great question, Tammy. Sharon says, I did. I'm glad my Jersey had 2 sessions with you. A huge gift for the both of us. Thank you. Jersey was incredible. She didn't go until she was ready to go, and damn what anybody was going to tell her. You know, yeah, she had some health issues, and they were challenging, but she did it. But again, a behaviorist is not in that situation. Again, it's like, which one of these things is not like the other? Which one of these things doesn't belong? God, I can't believe I just sang. Anyway, so you got to figure out what works for you. And there might be something where, well, I think a behavioralist and an animal communicator would work well, and finding 2 that work together. Or I think a trainer and an animal communicator would work great together. Great. You know, there's no right or wrong. In Sharon's case, Jersey needed a healer, and Jersey needed an animal communicator to relay how she was feeling, to make sure she was feeling okay in her body, to make sure she was, you know, we were on the right course of healing, and we were on the right course of treatment for her illness. So yeah, a behaviorist isn't going to work that way. It's not going to work that way. It's not going to work in that situation. It's just not. So, anything else? So Krista says, and I'm glad she says this, Krista says, I'm not sure which behaviorists you know. None that I know are as you describe at all. They are very much care about the why and all the things you listed. Then that's great. But I'm taking this from several different colleges who are teaching behavioralism, okay, animal behavior. So this is from them, okay? I'm not taking this description from anybody else, okay, or anybody who's against behaviorists. I'm not, because again, it's not about bashing, okay? I don't know any behaviorists. Why? Because a lot of them do not want to work with me. They don't. They think their way is the right way, and they think that's the only way, and they haven't come to me and said, let's collaborate, let's get together, let's collaborate on this, let's do something together. I work with vets, but I have veterinarians, but I don't work with behaviorists. And if I'm wrong about them, then I'm wrong about them. But then they should go to their colleges, and they should tell their colleges their description is kind of wrong. All right? But I thank you for bringing that up, Krista, because that was awesome, and I'm glad you did. So, if anybody else has got any questions or comments? Seriously, I like this. Tell me stuff. You know, I'm going on what I know, but I say to myself, I'm saying to you, you know, I always say this is my opinion. Okay? This is my opinion. This is what I know. All right? And I'm always open to getting new, you know, ideas. I'm always open to getting new, you know, collaborations between people. Absolutely. You know, would I like to work with trainers and behaviorists? Absolutely. You know, why not? I think the more we work together, the more good we're doing. But again, I'm not trashing anybody. I'm just saying what these people are describing themselves as, and these institutions are describing what a behaviorist is. Again, everybody's an individual. You know, everybody's an individual. All right? But the whys, again, unless you ask an animal why they're doing something, this is my opinion, and it's only my opinion, you are then assuming, because you don't know unless you are really and truly asking them. You can say, the why he's doing this is because he's feeling threatened. But if it's because he's feeling threatened, because he had a bad experience or his mother was killed in front of him, you know, and it put him in this traumatic state, so he's always feeling like he's less than in front of these particular dogs or these particular animals, or bigger dogs or smaller dogs or medium-sized dogs or whatever. You don't know. You're assuming. I'm just saying. You got to, that's why it's like it's important to maybe collaborate. You know, the behaviorist comes to me and says, okay, this is what I'm getting. Is this what you're getting? This is what communicators do with each other sometimes. Hey, Coriel, I'm not sure. Am I getting this right? Yeah, you're getting it right. Maybe I'm tweaking this just a little bit more, but yeah, you're on the right page. Great, super. Or sometimes I'm like, no, I'm getting this. So again, it's not trashing anybody. It's trying to say, how can we work together? And that we can become a very, very powerful tool if we do work together. But I can't work with people who don't want to work with me. And I'm not going to work with people who don't want to work with me. I'm not forcing anything. I'm not about forcing. So, if you know a behaviorist and they want to work with me or they want to talk to me, tell them to come over. I'd love to talk to them. I'd like to find out more about them. I'd like to find out how their mind works, how they delve deep into it. Love to know. So give them my phone number, give them my email address, give them my website, CorielKramer.com. So, let's see if we have any more. Let's see. Exactly, the vet wasn't helping at the point. Well, it was hard. You know, the vet did all he could do or she could do. So, you know, they did the best they could do. The vets can be like that too. My vet was like, you did what? But she's a personal friend and said, I can't wait to get together and hear about it. Good. I hope send her the recordings that I did with Jersey. Send her the recordings. I have no problem. They're your recordings. You want to record? I record everything. That's your property. Do whatever you want to do. So, Tracy says, I am going crazy since last Friday. I dreamed of my fur kids, and they're showing me a human form. I can't get the image out of my mind. Well, that's animal communication, but you might want to sit, because you first started the sentence, your first part of the sentence was, I'm going crazy. So that's your indication you blocked off. So why don't you just tell whatever you think is sending you this information, just tell them, hang on a second, I need to process this. You keep sending this to me. You keep sending this to me. I need to process this, so please stop sending it to me so that I can then process it, and then we can move on from this. But they keep sending it to you, sending it to you. So you always have boundaries. Just make sure you put the boundaries up. Okay? Sharon also says, ironically, my friend was away when Jersey's journey ended. Nothing happened as planned, and I ended up with the vet who totally believes as I do. No coincidences, happen as it was meant to be. Well, that's beautiful, and I love that. Thank you very much for sharing that. So, if there are no other questions or comments, again, please remember I'm having a sale on until the end of this weekend. Today is August 2nd, 2018, and this is running until Sunday. And it is going to be 30 minutes for $50. If you are interested in doing an animal communication session, psychic session, a mediumship session, spirit guide discovery, or a healing session, please feel free to go to my website, CorielleKramer.com. This has been an incredible episode. I hope this has helped. I hope this has helped explain. I hope this has helped maybe in the future bring me and some of these people together in new ways. I am absolutely open to that. And I want to thank everybody for their questions, their comments. I want to thank everybody for joining. I want to thank everybody for their support of the animal experience and for sharing the videos, because it is important and it is time that the animals' voices are heard. And until next week, I wish you and your animals a beautiful, wonderful, fantastic week of experiences with one another.